Alright, what's up guys? We are back for the 2025 season, and I am with WERA this year in the SuperStock, this is C SuperStock class. Here we are holding down the launch control for way too long at the beginning of here, just already messing up starts. But I'm excited to have launch control this year. It's not like electronic launch control really, it's just holding an RPM, but it does allow me to focus on the clutch side and just keep the throttle side very consistent, and that consistency really does help with a lot of that as well. I was letting it dip too far back down once you get started, and that's going to cause me to lose a bunch of spots there. I do get pushed a little bit out on the left side here, and I also am in the wrong gear trying to come out of 2 there. I'm in 4th, I should be in 3rd. We're going to see Yves right there on the blue bike. He gets around me pretty handily, and we're going to see a little bit of a common theme there throughout this race of that happening. But we are going to try to improve, get our shifts down, and see where we can go. You can already kind of tell by the way Yves is riding that he is looking for ways to get around other people. And because of that, I'm going to try to really just latch on to the back of him. I've got a little bit of confidence that he is going to find a way around people, and a lot of times, especially in kind of novice settings, that's going to bump someone else offline, or at least allow a little bit of an extra gap there as well to try to also make a pass. So sometimes just following people is a better option. You don't always have to battle everyone and then end up further back than you could if you guys work together. Here we see Marcel on the left there. He was having some trouble with his bikes. It was good to see Marcel out there. I met him back in Pan Am, so that was fun to see him this year as well. We'll be kind of doing a bunch of stuff together this year as well. I do brake pretty late into turn 1, so I was able to get both Austin and Yves there. But again, you see 4th gear, I'm in the wrong spot. Yves goes around the outside there again and gets me, but you know, we do, and then that also just like messes you up for the next corner. Now I'm in 3rd. A lot of times I'll be in 2nd there, so we get better, I promise. But again, you can see Yves trying to make a pass here. He gets bumped off a little bit offline. I'm going to focus just on getting drive out of here, and then try to make that turn there to keep up with Yves here throughout this corner. And then really from here, I just want to focus on trying to get as good of a drive as I can through that 8 and also into 9 here. 9's going to be really important because that's the long straight, so you're going to lose a lot of time if you don't get good drive there. Unfortunately, I kind of missed the draft here, and so my focus is really just get into a tuck, try to not lose as much time as possible, and then just worry about getting a good line through 1 and 2 and just kind of brake a little bit later. And you see I do brake a bit later there, and that's affords me a little bit of time to catch up to Yves there, and I'm at least in the right gear this time, which is nice. So at this point I'm just going to kind of try to focus and put my head down and put a clean lap, because I've got a little bit of space here. And so you can see on the left side there, unfortunately someone crashed out. I think that was in the expert group, and they seemed fine. They were all walking around. Hope they were all good. Unfortunate about the bike, I'm sure. But again, back here, I'm really just trying to put together a good lap here. And I'll end up actually putting together my fastest lap here of the, I think it might have even been for the day, but certainly for this race. And I think this was, according to my laps, which is where they keep track of all the times, I was the fastest novice for this particular race. That being said, some people's transponders weren't working, so I don't know if that's really correct. We'll get into some of that transponders not working later. You can kind of see the wind coming across there, and I'm going to make a fairly long lunge from back. But I do make it stick, and I think it was fairly good. I think it was fair. I don't think I got kind of stood him up too much, but it was from a long ways back, so a little bit of commitment there to make that happen. And then I can also see that we are catching up to Craig here. And then also he's got a couple people in front of him, and that's going to be some traffic. And so that's where I start to think, hey, maybe I can try to catch up and put myself in a position to see what happens for the next few laps. And again, this probably isn't going to be quite as quick of a lap as the last one, but I do have a little bit of space, so just try to focus on making clean laps, and then if you can be clean and consistent there, you're almost inevitably going to catch up to them, assuming you have a reasonably close pace, to the people in front who are kind of battling with each other. He's going to kind of make that inside pass out of 9, and that's going to allow me to get a little bit of a draft here, which is going to help me a lot going into 1 again. Here I go in the 6th, and again, I really shouldn't be going in the 6th there. You're kind of topped out in the 5th. I do at least remember that I was getting in the wrong gear and remember to count the correct gears this time going in there, so I did get back into 3rd, which helps me get a bit more drive out of 2 here into 3, and you can see Yves is held up a little bit there, but he also just really doesn't get as far ahead of me as what we would probably see if we were looking back at him the previous couple times where I was in the wrong gear. So getting here, I'm just going to kind of settle in a little bit and see what these guys do. The races were actually shortened as well. We had a couple of injuries during practice, which I hope everyone is doing okay there. But it ended up delaying everything, and we had to kind of just shorten up a lot of the races. So this is going to be a 6-lap race, although the times on the left-hand side there include the outlap, so we're kind of 1 lap behind there. So this will end up being the final lap here. I actually don't even see that. And so I'm not used to also like a 6-lap race, certainly, or even like an 8-lap race, which was the original length. Pan Am does them a little bit longer unless they're the sprints. So I was just kind of used to it. I wasn't paying attention, and I kind of let this one get away from me a little bit. I am hanging back a little bit, seeing what they were doing. You saw him kind of battling a little bit into turn 9 of the previous lap, and then also turn 1, passing back and forth. And so I was like, okay, well, I seem to have enough pace to stick with them. So, like, then let's see what happens and how they play out, see if anyone makes a mistake, see where I can start to pass them. Fortunately, I kind of run out of laps here, and that's on me. There's lots of like little mistakes like that I make this weekend and this race with the gearing and just not paying attention to what laps you're on. That's going to have an impact. This is a pretty good hard pass by Yves there, and he's going to get around him, and that's actually going to be for the win in novice. Yves' transponder also wasn't working, so WERA ends up giving me 2nd, but